We'll leave it there. We'll move on to crossover boxing. We've been talking about this for 41 minutes, so we'll move on. We got the Misfits 2 card coming up. Obviously, a lot of these fights that are on this card, so I'll just run through the card really quick. It's a lot of YouTubers and influencers that you guys may not know. But I'll run through it. AJ Bunker versus Carla Howe. That's actually a pretty big deal because there's 2 women influencer fights on here. And the last time we saw a woman influencer fight was on iDubbbz's card, which was a banger. Those 2 girls beat the shit out of each other. It was incredible to watch. Hope they're healthy, obviously. Hallaham versus DDG. Hallaham was Salt Poppy's first opponent. You remember Salt Poppy?
He smoked that guy.
Smoked him. Love him. Astrid Webb versus Keely, maybe? I'm not familiar. Another woman fight. Anthony Taylor. Is Anthony Taylor actually fighting on this card? Huh. Anthony Taylor, who was Jake Paul's former sparring partner, has yet to win a boxing fight in influencer boxing. Just shows up for a paycheck. Fuck that guy. Got lit up by Tommy Fury. Not disrespecting Anthony Taylor, but like, you're friends with Jake Paul. Therefore, by default, I'm not allowed to like you because I'm a KSI fan. But
was he as a sparring partner, Jake?
Anthony Taylor? Yeah, he was an MMA fighter. I believe he was pretty kick-ass as an MMA fighter. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure. Becomes a crossover boxer, is Jake Paul's sparring partner, fights Tommy Fury on the Tyron Woodley card.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember
Gets
that.
lit up by Tyron Fury. I mean, he's a wrestler, so...
I get it.
It is what it is.
Just like all of Jake Paul's
opponents.
Yeah. And a basketball player.
And... yeah.
Nate Robinson. That's embarrassing.
God.
Sorry. But
I would like to see Nate. I want to see Nate Robinson fight again.
Him versus
he's gonna shock the world.
Someone his size.
I wouldn't mind seeing Nate fight again. He fought Jake Paul, guys. Come on. You know, like...
Look at the height difference.
We knew what this was going to be. Okay?
I do. Yeah.
Anthony Taylor, obviously, I'm not supposed to like him because he's a Jake Paul guy. But I do like watching him compete when he does decide to compete. Last time I saw him, he fought Ryan Taylor, who's also on this card, who's not nearly as experienced. Beat the shit out of Ryan Taylor, I believe, but it got counted as a draw, even though I don't think it was a draw. That's the consensus. I don't know. I didn't watch the fight. And then he showed up and had a glorified sparring session on the Deji Wasabi card for a paycheck. Mm-hmm. So consider Anthony Taylor's moral obligations as much as you will. I don't know. We'll see if this fight's competitive. Tom Zanetti versus Jack Bean. I don't know enough about these guys. I believe it's their first fight.
I don't either.
A fight that was supposed to happen on here was Swarms versus Kristen Hanneby.
That's the guy who fought KSI, right?
Swarms did fight KSI, but he pulled out of the fight recently.
Yeah, you got fucked. Screwed.
Swarms got pulled out? I thought it was
cuss. I don't care. We can cuss, just not 300 times like the last one.
Swarms?
Swarms just pulled out of the fight.
He pulled out a fight against...
Kristen.
Oh, Kristen Hanneby?
Yeah.
Oh, so does Hanneby have an opponent yet?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
There's consensus and there's talks on Twitter. But Swarms pulled out because he said he wants to fight in November and he doesn't feel he's ready yet to fight right now.
I mean, it was, what, less than
it was less than
2 months?
It's a month. It's a month and a half. So I actually like Swarms a lot. He promoted the shit out of the KSI fight card.
Yeah.
He walked in there. I mean, imagine walking into the fight KSI on 2 weeks' notice. That's a tough ask.
We were obviously watching the fight, and it was just hilarious how he was just running away from him. He had his back turned,
spinning circles.
Spinning circles.
He promotes the fight wonderfully. Which, by the way, these influencer and crossover boxers, I love the scene. I love the crossover boxing. We watch all the pay-per-views. It's very important to note that these guys are not boxers. They're supposed to be entertainers first.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Boxers second. Swarms understands that. He promoted this fight wonderfully. He grabbed the belt, like at the press conferences. He's incredible. So I really want to see him fight again, and I'm happy that he's committed to fighting again. He got beat up by KSI and walked out of the fight better than he looked going into it. He's got a bigger fan base. He's a name on the scene that people want to see now.
How many fights has he had, you know?
He just fought KSI.
I know, but like, was that his first one?
That was his first fight.
That was his first fight on a 2-week.
Everyone's
UK
first
drill rapper,
fight.
also I think a soccer player as well. Your
That's
first
hard.
fight. Yeah, your first fight.
I feel like everyone's first fight should be against someone else's first fight because you can just see the difference.
Kristen Hanneby fought, I believe he fought Vidal. Vidal.
I've seen he does like all these pranks with his family members and stuff like that. So it is pretty funny to watch him like in general do these videos, but like him as a boxer, I've never seen him box.
I believe he fought on the Show Star card, which is the Deji versus Wasabi card.
Okay.
I believe he fought on there to a draw, but it shouldn't have been a draw because he was headbutting his opponent.
Oh, I think I did see that. Yeah.
This is not the guy you're thinking of.
No?
No. He's on the next fight we're going to talk about. You're thinking about Ryan Taylor, who almost murdered this poor guy by just, bam, cocking back.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Have you
okay,
seen that
we're
video?
good.
Did
Yeah.
I show you that video?
I mean, you did. I know you were telling me about it.
It was on the Deji card. He just grabs this guy and just,
Yeah, you did tell me.
yeah.
And the
Or
guy
showed me.
falls out of the ring. He falls
Yeah.
out of the ring.
Yeah, so Christian was fighting Vidal. I think his name's Vidal. I used to watch him as a kid, or when I was younger.
I'm not sure who it was.
Vidal. God damn, I know who he is. I just can't remember. Shit, hold on. This is gonna bother me. Who the fuck is Kristen Hancher? That's not what I want.
It's
Vitali.
Vitali. Okay.
I'm thinking of Vidal.
Yeah,
KSI's coach.
The
Old
actual
coach.
the pro boxer. No,
Yeah.
it's not him.
2 V's. Whoops. Vitali. Why was I saying Vidal?
I don't know.
Vitali.
I don't know.
So Vitali versus Christian was a pretty good fight. No, it wasn't. I can't remember. But Christian in the clinch was headbutting Vitali a whole bunch, trying to be a little cheap with it.
Oh.
And I think it got ruled as a draw. Regardless, the name, they were supposed to do a rematch, but I don't know if Vitali's going to fight again. I don't know. The next fight on the card, which probably should be the main event, but is not the main event, is Slim versus Ryan Taylor.
Slim looked really good.
Yeah.
You remember Slim?
Yeah, I do.
He knocked out Temper. Slim, if you're thinking of crossover boxers, Slim is probably top 5 of the scene. Is neck and neck with Gibb. The dream fight between Slim and Gibb is next.
See, I wanna see that fight, but it's Slim has such an advantage because he's
taller and
he's so much taller and has a huge amount of reach.
He's got those Tyson Fury arms that he could
just-
touch his toes without even. Yeah.
You can do some windmills and then Gibb would never get close. But
So Slim's competitive nature and track record was brought into question with all of his fights. His first fight, he fights Fuzi, who was at the time very mentally ill and was a punching bag in that fight.
pretty much.
Great,
Yeah.
you beat Fuzi.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Dubai on a card that I believe he was like one of the main guys setting up that card with Money Kicks, who like is the owner of the card. I think. I don't know. There's a bunch of conspiracies behind that, but he fights 2 guys. He knocks out 2 guys who should not have ever been in the ring with him in the first place.
This
Right, that's the
first time fighting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the consensus.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the full fights. I've seen the knockouts. They're brutal knockouts. Because the guy's fucking arms are...
Long.
Yeah.
They're long as
So
fuck.
for a long time, Slim was a massive villain in the crossover boxing scene. But
Nobody liked him.
yeah, it's because, I mean, Gibbs a fan favorite, and he was the
The opponent.
the opponent for Gibb. But Gibb never really wanted to fight him because Slim, at the time, didn't really have, 1, a good track record, and 2, enough clout, which is a stupid thing to say, but I get it.
Yeah.
Slim So it was supposed to be Blueface versus Temper originally on the KSI card, right?
Mhm.
Blueface the rapper. Blueface gets
That's-
pulled out of the fight because I think he punched his girlfriend in the head or something like that.
Beat him.
I think
He beat her.
I think it was a fight. I think she was hitting him, and then he.
No.
I don't know. I think I can't. I'm not gonna say anything on it, but the whole consensus, not consensus, but the whole there was like drama between him and his girlfriend. So I think that was the reason he got pulled off the card. Slim steps in on 2 weeks' notice after an injury that he got from Ryan Taylor. So Slim versus Ryan Taylor was booked to happen before this KSI Misfits card ever got announced, I believe.
Yeah.
So Slim walks in 2 weeks' notice, beats FaZe Temper, who's really good. He's 6'4",
Yeah.
and knows how to fight. Beats Temper on 2 weeks' notice. His stock shoots up in the air. Him and Gibb are going to be on a collision course here. But Slim also walking off of an injury, which was an eye injury from Ryan Taylor, who jumped him in the lobby a few weeks before his fight with Ryan Taylor. So Slim versus Ryan Taylor is happening on this card, but it was supposed to happen previously, but Ryan Taylor jumped Slim in the
Why would he
lobby.
do that? Just ruins.
Because I don't think that Ryan Taylor is necessarily a good person. I don't know him personally. I have no idea. The consensus is that Ryan Taylor jumped Slim, or Slim says Ryan Taylor jumped him. Ryan Taylor says Slim jumped him.
Yeah. It's just drama leading up to the fight.
I have no idea. But after watching Ryan Taylor try to kill somebody by cocking back and headbutting them in the boxing ring, I'm going to go with Ryan Taylor might not be a good person.
Yeah.
Maybe. I know he's friends with Deji, so maybe he is a good person. But those two actions were not good things. Trying to kill somebody with headbutting them is not a good thing. So Ryan Taylor jumps Slim. I'll say Ryan Taylor jumped Slim. I don't know if that's actually happened. A fight breaks out in the hotel lobby, basically what I'm trying to say. Slim hurts his eye, and his boxing career is up in the air if that's ever going to happen again. This fight gets rescheduled. It's now on Misfits 2. It should have been the main event because these guys have bigger names and
They got some beef.
they have beef. Slim stock is easily the biggest one out of anybody on this card right now.
Yeah, I think so.
After beating Temper, but also I think they probably didn't want to make it the main event because at the end of the day, this fight really shouldn't be close unless Ryan Taylor decides to headbutt him again, which
Who do you got winning?
Slim should beat the shit out of him.
No, yeah. No.
There's experience.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more experience. He's got the longer reach. But Ryan Taylor did fight Anthony Taylor, who's a professional fighter, and didn't get knocked out. And it was a draw.
It ultimately it just not just this fight alone, but it comes down to like all the fights. It's just how mentally prepared are you, and how prepared are you from your coaches, your diet, training habits, stuff like that. So if you're not prepared, you're gonna lose the fight.
Yeah. I would like to see Ryan Taylor versus Saul Poppy.
I like to just watch Saul
Wasn't-
Poppy box anyone.
He'll be back.
Wasn't Saul Poppy? He only fought once.
He fought Halal Ham, and he fought... I can't remember the guy he beat on the KSI card.
I can't either,
Yeah, he
but
killed him.
it's within the first 20 seconds, 10 seconds.
Not even. Yeah,
Not even?
9 seconds,
And he
maybe.
hit him with like a
Boom.
combo.
I think it was one of the fastest knockouts
I
in
think
boxing
so.
history. I believe so.
Yeah,
Oh. So, I got Slim beating Ryan Taylor in this fight.
I do too.
But also, I like this boxing match a lot. If Ryan Taylor can not be such a dirtbag and headbutting people in a boxing fight, I'd like him to stick around the scene. Because, I'm hearing that he's a better person. If he's hanging out with Deji, who I know is a good person, how much of a villain can Ryan Taylor actually be? All I can judge him off of is his past track record, which is almost killing somebody in a boxing ring and then getting somebody injured
before your fight.
before your fight.
Before the fight, that had to be rescheduled.
Yeah, but regardless if Ryan Taylor wins or loses, we need people in the scene. I would like to see him fight more, but I want to see Slim. But anyway, Slim versus Ryan Taylor is on a track record. Or Slim versus a Nissan Gibb is on
What's like the height difference?
a lot.
A lot.
To a little.
I remember
Gibb is 5'8", and then Slim's like 6'3", 6'4".
With a
I think.
long
No, he's not 6'4". He's probably
No?
6'1".
6'1".
Maybe 6 foot flat.
But that's still a
But he's got a
huge
long
difference.
reach.
Yeah.
Because I remember Temper was pretty overshadowing.
Yeah. Well,
Slim.
the thing is, still, like, Gibb will literally be looking up to him, trying to fight him.
it's a tough fight.
I
But, like,
I think I'm gonna pick Slim on that one. I like Gibb.
I can't
but
go
like,
against Gibb.
but like
Gibb.
height's huge.
Yeah, but everybody Gibb fights is taller than him.
Yeah, I know. It's
How much taller was McBroom?
he's
He was like
McBroom-
two.
He was a couple inches taller.
I knew he was taller, but
He's taller. He's got the. I mean, everybody's Gibb fights is going to be tall. I don't know if Slim is that much taller. I think he's probably 5'11".
I thought he was like 6'4".
Oh, so
but
three-
I think he just looks tall because he's got the long arms.
he's
Yes.
long.
3
inches isn't that bad. 5 inches.
How tall is Slim?
Because he's
He's 6 foot flat.
6 foot. Okay, that's what I thought.
So he's 4 inches taller than Gibb.
It's still
Pretty
a lot.
hard.
That's
I
still
get
a
it, but Temper was 4 inches taller than Slim. And
Yeah.
I think that Gibb is probably more skilled tactically and has better boxing IQ. And I think that this is a fight that they both have had to think about for a very long time.
At least we know Gibb will go inside and make it dirty.
I think that's probably going to be the game plan.
Compared to Tyron Woodley, who just stands on the outside.
Yeah, I would. We love you, Tyron. St. Louis's very own.
Yes.
But I want to see Slim and Gibb are on a collision course.
It's gonna happen.
It's inevitable, especially if Slim wins this fight. Gibb is not going to be fighting on the KSI card in January. Unless he fights in November or December, he's not going to be fighting on the KSI card in January because Gibb officially confirmed himself that his next fight will be in the UK, considering his last 3 were in the United States.
Yeah.
And the next KSI card is going to be in the United States. So Gibb and Slim are probably going to main event their own event. I can't imagine it's going to be in December, which means you lose. I imagine that's going to be the fight for both of them next. That's probably going to be in February, and it's going to be the main event, and it's going to be in England. That's my prediction. So that being said, Swarms pulls out of the fight with Chris and Hannity. KSI's manager makes a tweet. Should Luis Alcaraz Pineda, the man who fought KSI, step in for Swarms and fight Chris and Hannity? I don't know his name. I'm gonna say Hannity.
If he's not a bitch and if he doesn't complain about getting hit in the back of the head, that maybe.
Let me stop you there. Luis just fought again.
Yeah.
Yes, like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Wait, who's Luis?
He was
He was the Mexican fighter who
the second fight.
he was the pro fighter who fought KSI.
That's what I thought. I was just making sure.
He fought 2 days ago,
Mhm.
2 or 3 days ago, got his ass kicked. Luis got lit up. Same thing, was getting hit, but hit the back.
That's probably why he was. That's probably so. What's his record? Is like 2-.
He's 2-8 right now.
2-8.
2-7. I believe he's 2-8.
You look terrible when we
Well,
watched
so
him.
the thing is, he probably only got those 2 wins by making the ref decide on a disqualification by hitting it in the back of the
I
head.
think he knocked somebody out.
Really?
I think so. Because with Luis Alcaraz Pineda, he has dozens of amateur fights. Dozens.
Is he really?
I believe so. I believe he has like 100. I don't know if this to be fact, but he has multiple amateur fights. And he did not look bad in them. I saw a clip of him going toe-to-toe with somebody, throwing combinations, looking quick.
You look terrible.
Then he goes and fights JJ.
Terrible.
I think in my head, they bring this kid out of Mexico. He doesn't speak any English. Now he's in the O2 arena with 20,000 people who clearly are voting against the other guy to win. This guy is naturally 30 pounds heavier than you, hits you a whole bunch. We know JJ hits hard. I think he was just just in really deep waters, and it was a lot too little. So that's what I chalked it up to be. And then I watched the clips of him fighting 2 days ago. Same exact thing. Is getting lit up, complaining about the back of the head. Is Luis a bad boxer?
From what I saw, I can understand like the circumstances of him, getting into a ring with a bunch of people, and he's feeling overwhelmed. But you're a boxer at the end of the day. You just need to stand your ground and fight your fight.
I get, yeah. And like the like JJ was saying, like I hit him and he just didn't want it. And I get it. JJ's power is hard, but like you're a boxer, Luis. You need to throw something, throw some combinations. And I thought maybe the size and the power of JJ was going to be too much. And then he went and Luis just fought somebody 2 days ago, and it was the exact same story where he just was getting beat up, and it wasn't in London, and it wasn't in front of 20,000 people, and it wasn't against one of the biggest influencers in the world. It was against another boxer who's just not popular. No respect to him. Disrespect, I don't know his name, but he's not KSI is what I'm trying to say. So it was just back to normal boxing for Luis, and he gets schooled like that again, and he does that again. After we know he is experienced, you know how to box. Why are you not boxing? So they were thinking about putting Luis in with Christian Hamby to see, is Luis bad or was he just overwhelmed?
I think for the event itself, it's just gonna spiral down. If you put Pineda in there, it's gonna go down. It's not gonna get as many views. Nobody's gonna watch it. But just because what they saw against KSI, no disrespect to him, but from like I said, you're a boxer. You gotta box. You gotta throw some punches. You can't be a bitch and complain. Nobody likes a person to complain. That's it.
Let me check on the camera, but.
It is what it is, though.
I understand.
What about the computer in there? Is that on?
Yeah, I can see it. We're good. I think Carter is coming back and forth, and he's checking on it, I believe. But Luis, I want to see him on the card because I get it. He got his ass kicked, but like at the same time, he kind of became popular just from being a meme.
He's terrible.
And it sells tickets. And he's got something to prove now. And I think if he's on this card, he gets some money, maybe to help out his family or himself. And like there's a meme of him and JJ at the face-off and Vamos! So every time like people talk about him, they tweet and they go, Vamos! Luis Pineda! And Vamos is let's go, I think, in Spanish.
Yes.
So I would like to see Pineda back. Let's see what happens. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, give him another shot, but at the same time,
Kristen has one fight.
Kristen does?
Yes, and it's not against anybody. It's against Vitali, who's also not a boxer.
Yeah.
So Luis, in theory, should win this fight.
But I can
if
see,
he does it. I don't know if that fight's just canceled all around or if they're still trying to figure it out.
I can see Kristen being a good fighter though. If he's got the build for it, and he's like obviously can't dictate how good of a boxer he is just from one fight, but I think he's got potential.
I don't know. Let's move on to the main event.
I don't know any of those guys.
He does. Jay Swingler versus Churdleys, I believe.
I know.
Churdleys? I don't know Churdleys or Churdleys. I don't know him. I know who Jay Swingler is. I love Jay Swingler. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's one half of TGF. Funny, hilarious. He was a Nissan Gibbs' second fight.
Okay.
On the KSI Logan card, won.
Is that the one where he goes,
Okay,
where Gibb just went ham on him?
They were
with all the cardio.
They were banging each other back and forth.
Was that with the bad judging at the end, or was that a different fight?
Do
you know who won that fight eventually?
Gibb.
Gibb won the fight?
Yeah. I mean, cardio's insane, but like Jay was like it was one of the greatest. It's charted as one of the greatest crossover boxing fights we've ever seen because these guys are just kicking the shit at each other. Yeah. And I've seen clips of Jay. He looks incredible. He looks really good. He's quick.
Recently?
Yes, he's putting shots together. He's fast. He looks like he hits hard. I want to see him fight. I want to see what he can do. He could be a real contender in this crossover boxing scene, which I think is what they're charting on. And he has said that he wants to get back to the Nissan Gibb fight and do it one more time to prove that he can. Jay's hilarious. He does. They did so on TGF. They did they're a comedy channel. A lot of it in the early days, they just really kicked the shit out of each other. It's like they were like Jackass.
Yeah.
But not really. One video that I showed Nick is him and his friend Ramel.
Oh, I know who this guy is now.
They were playing hide and seek. Jay, so they're from England.
Yeah.
I believe, I want to say either London or Watford. I don't know. I have no idea. So they live in England. They, Ramel counts to like 100. Jay gets in his car, drives to the airport, and flies to fucking New York City.
What the fuck?
Something he hide in like a dumpster.
And hides in a dumpster in New York City. And like this whole time, and like Jay is like not tweeting. I think he's tweeting and texting him hints of where he is. And Ramel's like looking for him everywhere, and he he sees like I think it was like an emoji of like the up emoji, and then an apple for the big apple.
Yeah.
And Ramel's like, he is not in New York City. So Ramel flies to New York City looking for him and finds him in a dumpster on the street. And Jay's like, I'm so happy you found me. I've been in here for so long. It's so fun. They're hilarious. I watched one of my favorite. They did an awesome you're from Bosnia. You know what nettles are,
Yeah.
right?
What?
Nettles.
Nettles? I'm not sure.
They're like the plant wherever you touch it that like stings you a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I think in Bosnia, from what I heard from a friend. From Elmadine. Elmadine told me there's nettles fucking everywhere.
Yeah, it's for the most part.
Yeah. So, we don't get that a lot in America. So I was hoping to tell the story that you would understand it a little bit.
Okay.
Just maybe you've dealt with it. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah, they're terrible. So
They are.
They did a video with KSI where it's like the nettle Olympics where like they put nettles on the ground and they'll run across it, and then Jay does like backflips into the nettles. And it's hilarious. They're hilarious. I watched one clip where Jay and Ramel get into a bathtub in a field and they had a truck pull the bathtub.
I think you showed me these videos.
Yeah, and then Jay just splits his whole leg open.
I need to see this.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Me and John would watch these videos for hours.
I remember it now.
They're incredible.
I'll definitely check it out.
You have to. They're great.
That's awesome.
So we'll move on to the Misfits card boxing, but
who's this Churdleys?
I have no idea. I know nothing about him.
No.
I heard Jay made a video on Twitter. Apparently makes good content, but I don't know anything about him.
Oh, he's just a YouTuber?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about him. I think he lives in America, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. That could be completely wrong.
Is this set in UK or USA?
England. Yeah, because the main event of this card was supposed to be Hasim Rahman Jr., who was originally going to fight Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Versus Vitor Belfort, I believe is the UFC fighter.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think he's the UFC fighter who got smoked a whole bunch for being on steroids. So they were supposed to have a boxing match. And that was supposed to be the main event of this card, but it's going to be the main event of Misfits 3, which is going to be in November.
Okay.